Hi. Hello. Okay, did you have something to say to me? Yes, okay. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
Hello, Amanda. Nice to meet you. I'm Gail Hanson.
Nice to meet you too. I'm here speaking on behalf of the American University Students Against Sexual Violence and to deliver you a petition.
Okay.
The petition reads, "We, the undersigned, the Students Against Sexual Violence, demand the administration of American University enact the policy recommendations outlined by the Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Task Force, as commissioned by student government. These include the implementation of mandatory preventative sexual assault education for the university community. The education of students on the topic of sexual assault prevention, beginning with freshmen and continuing with reinforced education throughout their careers at American University. And 2 hours to be dedicated during Welcome Week to peer-facilitated in-person sexual assault education for all first-year students with an implied mandate. We demand action from the administration of American University in response to this petition, with detailed and informative updates about these actions by the 15th of April, 2015. Failure to take action on these demands will be met with direct action. Sincerely, the Students Against Sexual Violence."
I have something for you too. First, I appreciate your advocacy. This is an important issue. I think American University, and especially the Office of Campus Life, has been on this hard and purposely since about 29. Okay, so before a lot of you got here. Whenever people are really passionate about a cause, I think lots of times they get swept up in that and might not be paying attention to all the work that's in progress and all the work that's in place. So I didn't print all the copies. I didn't know what the count would be. I have 10. I'm going to ask you to share, and we'll call ourselves eco-sensitive, okay, because I only have 10 copies. But I wanted you to have the link to the place where we talk about our resources. I wanted to reinforce the fact that we're working arm in arm with the student government, that the Sexual Assault Working Group has a broad spectrum of people from across the university, students, faculty, staff, and now the Sexual Assault, the
Students Against
Sexual Violence will be joining that group. Been asked a number of times, delighted that now you'll finally join, because that's the place that real work is getting done and things are formed up in a way that they can be implemented. So I'm going to give those to you and people can have them. Thank you for this. And, you know, I'm pleased to say most of what you're asking for are works in progress, or they're already in place one way or another. The thing I would ask you to do is try to stay on the overarching objectives and not do time, manner, and place, because there's a lot of logistics that has got to go into pulling anything off, and we're on that. We've got very full programs. All of you went through new student through Eagle Summit and through Welcome Week. Okay, I get it. But you went through that, and did you have a lot of downtime? Can I just ask you that? A lot of time were you just kind of sitting around during Eagle Summit?
But we also didn't have any actual discussion about sexual assault prevention.
And people realize that we need to get better every year.
And as a survivor, I don't think that I have enough resources to be able to combat the things that I'm dealing with after my assault.
And I'm sorry to know that.
The fact that some people have to wait a month just to even get seen by somebody is a little ridiculous.
The counseling team.
Every day, I guarantee you, someone will be sexually assaulted today.
Pardon me? Okay. And if you would look at the policy on harassment and sexual assault, it's outlined. Just a minute, it's outlined there, and the group that's working on it has put together, it'll be released shortly, a very simple front and back map that shows you your choice points, where you can go, what's confidential and what's not confidential, and then the detail is in the policy. So we listen every time we have a sexual assault forum, and we have 2 a year, one in the fall, one in the spring. It's for us to provide you with information and to share data that we've collected. But it's also for us to listen to where you're hitting problem points. Every time we've heard things, they go into the sexual assault working group, or if I can do something about them independently, I will, such as hiring a sexual assault advocate, a second one. That's a personnel matter that I could take care of, and we did that in this budget. So, and we're hiring a Title IX coordinator as well. So we're listening all the time. I'm sorry we kind of come to this because I think we can work together a little bit better than signs and people gathered outside the office. But nonetheless, I understand, why you would choose this. So we're working on all these things. And I can say and document that every year, the things that we've heard are things we've attended to. Every year we're better. We're not perfect, but every year we're better. And I think this year, with the implementation of the Step Up program and that video and all the training that's gone along with that and the screening of new online programs, we know people learn in different formats. Some really need to be face-to-face. Others just want to be online. Some people want both.
Online's the least effective. In person is the most
It
effective.
is for some people, but not
Studies
everyone.
show
otherwise.
Excuse me,
Excuse
Um,
me, how can you
so
say that we continue to get better if we're just now under investigation for Title IX
The
violations?
only reason we even had the AE Step Up program, I think, is because EI emails were
That's
released.
But-
not the case.
Also, at multiple different peaceful platforms, we've demanded mandatory sexual assault prevention education during Welcome Week, and we've been ignored repeatedly. We brought it up at the last town hall meeting, which you suggested. We've received no updates. We also did an email campaign to all of SOG and CC'd you as well, and you said we'd be receiving an update by the end of February, and we never received that update.
That's right.
So I kind of want your answer now. Like,
Well,
where does the progress on sexual assault prevention education during Welcome Week?
Well, you gave me an April 15th deadline.
But you said in your emails to us that you would give us an update by the end of February, and there was never an update.
I'm sorry, I'm just not recalling that. What I want to do here is there are people responsible for Welcome Week. It's, as most of you went through that experience, there's a lot of information conveyed during that time, and then people are in freshman service experience, Explore DC, Discover DC, etc. So we're trying to place learning opportunities where people are able to take in the information and make something of it. There are lots of things that address sexual assault prevention during Welcome Week. It's not your prescribed X number of hours at this time in this way, but it happens. So we're looking at, we'll look at this, but I want the people responsible for Welcome Week to help us figure out how we fit in more. That's what I'm going to ask
The
them.
fact that someone within the first week of Welcome Week there was a report that was already sexual assault, that's disturbing within the first week of school. That's disturbing.
Up really do.
I think it's doing quite a bit. We've had a number of students tell us that they found themselves in a situation, and because of Step Up training, they knew what to do, and they tell us what they did. And so that's pretty good information to say that having a simple formula for people to learn and remember at least gives them in very tough moments something to drop back to. I wouldn't be dismissive of that program at all.
As someone who's taught step-up workshops, it covers bystander intervention, which is important, but it's less than half the problem. Consent education is critical. Most students don't get that during their high school experience, and a majority of students are assaulted within the first 3 weeks of college. So having that education that's thorough, includes bystander intervention, sexual assault prevention, including consent education, and resources on campus, is critical.
Since college is
I'm not arguing with you. We're all on the same side of this. I think,
like it.
I'm sorry that that's the case. I'm sorry it is, because we are. And I tell you that I've got a staff that is now probably spending, I can't put a percentage on it, on a single issue of sexual assault, being sure that our programs and services are responsive. I'm sorry you don't feel that. We're looking for ways to communicate it to you so that you do. But we're on it. We're on it. No one wants this to happen. But I want some reciprocity too. I want people to examine their own conduct. I want men to be unerringly respectful in
But
the
we need to teach
relationships
people
that they're
what
in with
respect
one
looks
another.
like. We need to teach
Right.
people what
I
consent looks
know.
like, and we're not doing that. That's why we want mandatory education. So why
I
can't
think
we
too
have
much
that?
not to feel safe on this.
Exactly.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't want to walk into my residence hall every day and see a new crime alert. Talking about
Delana?
sexual
Yes.
assault every day.
And I'm tired of seeing little girls
that,
crying in the
you know
bathroom too.
that crime alert is required by law, and we are unerring in putting it up there.
Understand. It's not that you're putting up crime alerts, it's that there shouldn't have to be lots of them. We want to prevent it.
I know, but some of this that I want you to think about is that the behavior that we're addressing, all of us, is things that one student is doing to another. It's all of our problem, but it's interpersonal. And I'm not there with you in your tough moments. A lot of other people can't be. We're not your chaperones. You have a lot of individual freedom and choice. And so as I carry, that's right, but as I carry my responsibility, I'm asking each of you through your influence as peers to examine your own attitudes and behavior and to change other people one person at a time, just as we work
I'm angry. That's my attitude.
The marginalized and the people who are affected it should not be the responsibility of them to educate everyone else. It's the people who are doing this. It's their job.
We continually put responsibility on the victims and bystanders, but we don't put any responsibility on the perpetrators. That's
Non-mandatory education
not
is
what I
just preaching to the choir.
That's
We
not
can't
what I
continue
said.
preaching to the choir. We have to reach out to the people who are not currently participating, and that's
Which is
all.
what
And that is through
Education.
Then all I can reasonably say to you is to repeat some of the main points that I just said. You have people in campus life and beyond who are dedicated to engaging this issue seriously, to working with people individually to support them if they suffer trauma, to seeing them through to a decent place, to doing all we have to do to line up our policies and practices so that they are all of a piece with getting this to be a safe and respectful community. You have our word on that. We're working at it every single day. I know you're passionate about it, and we're passionate about it. And we cannot dismiss each other or disrespect each other in this conversation. So I have your petition, and when I get these, I read them and take them very seriously, and we'll see what we can do with it. And you have my note just to say, in this last year, this is what we've done, and here's the link so that you can scrutinize that. And on April 20th, we have our second Sexual Assault Prevention Forum of the year, and I would invite those of you who want to come to that, to come to it, because we share data, we talk about what matters, where we are, how the measures that we've taken have been received, and whether or not they're working. I want us to get to a position where we're working on this together. This is not a matter that we should be in confrontation over, and I don't think we are. I appreciate you want to present your arguments in a forceful way. I appreciate that, and so I'm receiving it in that spirit. But let's not think we're on opposite sides of the street on this. Who in the world would stand by and allow horrible things like this to happen all the time? We're the folks.
Do more!
People who have profit incentive in ignoring problems and only addressing them when they make the news.
You wouldn't even let the media come on campus today to film this.
Our school refused to even apply for $300,000 from the federal government to prevent sexual assault. It didn't even apply. That's no cost to the school. What is your explanation for that?
My explanation for that is that when we looked at the kinds of things we wanted to do here, we felt that we could do them better and more effectively on our own money, so that when the grant ran out, we would run it on our base funds. We would have to replace that with our money anyway.
Because you guys didn't want to make anything mandatory, right? And you didn't. It wasn't.
I can see
The
there are some
article said
storylines.
was that the school did not want to make these mandatory because they didn't want to they didn't want to stop people from being able to sign up for classes if they didn't take these. But if you have, the school will prevent you from signing up for your classes if you haven't paid your fines in the library. So why are library fines more important than the well-being of everyone? Thank you.
Here's what I'll tell you, that the grant proposal is something that we have pretty thoroughly implemented on our own. It didn't take that kind of money to do it. So we followed the plan, but we didn't take the grant. We didn't apply for the grant. I think we're at a place where I appreciate where you're coming from. I hope you will appreciate to some extent how far we've come. I hope you'll take a minute to look at the resources out there, and that you'll go through representatives like Sophia and others in the group who sit with the sexual assault working group, and know that there are people meeting regularly, doing the homework in their subgroups and producing recommendations, a number of which are going to come out this spring and be implemented. So there's action. We're not waiting to be pushed. There's action all the time. And I would hope that you'd appreciate the hard work that people across the board, students, faculty, and staff are putting in on this.
Okay, thank you for your time. You've made it very clear where the administration stands. So thank you everyone for coming out today. We really, really appreciate the support, and let's keep fighting the good fight.
And I understand you're joining SASV. Is that
I
right?
haven't been invited, but I would love
You
to.
have been
I
several
haven't
times.
gotten any emails, but
I can show you the email.
okay.
I'd
I'd
love
love
to
to
do
see
the
them.
emails too about the report since you've forgotten them when you said
I
that we'd
don't-
expect a report at the end of February. We'll
Which
send
is
those
this
to
a
you.
response to?
This is a response to student clubs that said we want the sexual assault task force recommendations implemented and we want an update. And you said that we'll send you a report by the end of February.
Okay, and I think Sophia's on the sexual assault working group and presented the task force report in person to the group right after it was issued in November. And have they been working on this diligently? Yes. Okay. I know you're in between a rock and a hard place, but so am I. So it turns out now that these are coming out of subcommittee piece by piece. And when they are all together, I will issue another letter, but they're not there yet. I've signed off on a couple, but not all of them. And I thought I would put them all together. So if the timing is missing the intent of this, I'm sorry, but it is my intent to put out a spring letter. Okay? And it's the output of that committee. And I think when you see it, it's substantive work. It's not something where you talk about it for a meeting and then do it. It's stuff that takes a lot of work, and especially as a team that's been reviewing sexual assault prevention programs has put in hours and hours of taking all of these courses themselves, evaluating them for interaction and effectiveness. And they've worked hard all semester. They're going to come forward now with some recommendations. So people are on this. Truly, they are on this. So, I know you're passionate about it. We're passionate about it, too. I do not want to see this kind of activity ruining students' lives and marking the quality of life on our campus. It's awful, and it's got to stop. And so we're all on it. Trust me, we are all on it. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.